My name is AshtonJamesFTM, and this video is going to be talking about my relationship with my mom. And I've talked about my relationship with my dad, and I haven't really mentioned like my relationship with my mom, because my relationship with my dad I would say is really solid. And I talked to him today, and he's going to be in the video on this channel coming up here a little bit. I just gotta work out our schedules together to sit down and like make this thing, and he's just gonna make it. I'm kind of gonna be asking him questions, and just for him to just get his word out, like, hey, you can be a parent and you can support your kid, and it does make their life better, like as a parent. I think that's what he's gonna really focus on. So this video is gonna be kind of a precursor to that video, speaking about like my mom. Because she's not supportive, like I've kind of touched on in a few videos. And this video is not going to be like hating on her or anything like that, but I know that I'm not the only person that's dealing with unsupportive parents. And I made a video about this too, kind of touching on how to deal with unsupportive parents. And I don't think that parents comprehend that, as much as they may be in denial about like their child's identity, even after their kid has come out and transitioned for over months or even years, that denial and that non-acceptance is going to change them or something like that. And I don't think that they understand that we as children, I mean everyone's a child, everyone has a parent, whether they're here or not, but you know, I consider myself an adult, but I can speak for myself as a child, as somebody that has parents. I really crave that from my mom still. I wish that I had a good relationship with my mom, but I feel like that I was kind of denied my identity when I first came out, and it was kind of pushed under the rug, and still is being pushed under the rug as just kind of like this phase or something that's not really going to be a permanent thing. And because I was kind of ignored, and am being ignored for this part of my life, I think that really impacts my relationship with my mom, because of the fact that, unlike my dad, which I'm not comparing my parents while doing this bashing thing, it's not. This is just telling it like it is. This is the reality of the situation. You know, my dad, I think, tried to at least get to know me, or get to know me for the first time, really, actually, because it's really all it is. It's, you're finally getting to know your child for the first time, because before, that really wasn't their true self. And my parents, I've gone closer with my dad for the reason that he's at least attempted to get to know me for who I see I am, and who I feel I am, and the real me. And that is so essential in this process, is to at least just attempt to see your child how they see themselves, whether you agree with it or not. And I don't think that my mom's like put in the effort to really like see me as her son. And I realize there's reasons for that, and that's why I don't blame her. And I know that if you watch my first video that I posted, well, not my first video, the video where it's like a timeline of my transition, I presented very, very feminine and did beauty pageants and all that crap. And to a parent, if you see your child living a successful life, as being pretty in college and all that crap, you don't understand like why they would want to change that, or give up that easy life, for something else, without really comprehending that their life actually wasn't easier like that. It was actually really hard and really uncomfortable, and they were doing those things to push their genuine feelings down, because I know that I did that. I did pageants to push down a lot of the feelings that I had. I didn't, I felt like I was in drag doing those things, and I think that my mom knew that. I didn't feel, that wasn't really my atmosphere. And I think there are tons of signs that even though I did those things, like undeniable signs, just how I was as a little kid, I, during a 50s party, it was an all-girls party, they wore poodle skirts, and I didn't even know what that was, so I dressed up like Elvis, okay? Like, it's things like that. Like, it's cute when they're 5 and 6, and you can push it under the rug and ignore that that's, like, maybe a sign of something. And I mean, sometimes it's not, but I mean, if they come to you later, even if they embody something different, I mean, at their current stage, you have to at least acknowledge that maybe this isn't just like out of the blue. And I think that my mom really thought it was out of the blue, because of the fact that I was in the hospital beforehand, for receiving treatment for not wanting to be alive. I mean, I was willingly there, because I knew that I needed to transition, and because I was still presenting as female, I knew that, and I predicted it, people would be confused as to why a pretty girl or whatever, who looked like she had everything, whatever, would want to give that up or something like that. And I say all this in quotes because it almost doesn't even seem like it was like my true life. Like, I feel like I wasn't even like living. I didn't even feel like a human being, And so I knew that, and that's what the fear ate me up so much, to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. And that's why I ended up in the hospital. Not because I had some mental break from some other thing. It's solely because of the exact thing I was afraid was going to happen. Happened. I was going to be rejected by my own mother for not understanding why I needed to do this. And, I learned coping skills through that period of getting treatment. It didn't prevent me from wanting to transition. I still knew that that's what I needed, but I could cope with those, the rejection and things like that better, and that's what helped me stay alive. And obviously, becoming myself now, becoming this person that I see, helped me stay alive. I mean, honestly, I don't think my mom comprehends as to how I didn't want to be alive anymore. And then I come out and vocalize, like, while I'm so depressed, like, that I need to transition. And, she's not supportive of it. But then as I transition, my life becomes more and more productive, and positive things come out in my life. And I don't want to do that anymore. And she thought that that I had some psychotic break or something, and then that's why I ended up in the hospital. But wouldn't, if I was in a mentally unstable position and I transitioned out of, like, off a whim or something like that, don't you think my mental state would deteriorate further? like later on after I snapped out of this or whatever. I mean, it's been 2 years, okay? 2 years exactly to this month that I was in the hospital. Like literally this exact time, 2 years ago, February 26th, 2 years ago, I was at a university hospital in a psychiatric care willingly. I was there, like I said, but I didn't want to be alive anymore, and because I thought that this was unattainable. This person that I see now, this guy with stubble and a deep voice, I thought that this was unattainable, and that fear ate at me so badly, and I pushed through it, and I'm a hell of a lot happier now. But I just wish that I did have my mom. And I wish she understood that. Because I don't think she sees me as better off now. I don't know why, though, because I'm not in a hospital and I don't want to end my life anymore. But we as a society have such a warped opinion of, like, what's better. To stay the way that everyone else wants you to be, even though it eats you up inside. It eats almost like your soul from the inside out, and I'm not even being over dramatic when I say that. Trying to live up to other people's expectations and ignoring your reality. You'll never live a fulfilled life. You'll never live a full life, and I learned that. I don't want to say the hard way, because this is... I'm just going to breathe in. Because my muscles are tightening. I'm thinking about how uncomfortable I was. And then I look at myself, because I'm looking at this camera right now, and I can see myself looking back, and I see this person, this man, I want to just say, look at this beautiful man. And I don't even mean that in a cocky way. I mean it in a whole spirited way of a person that I've evolved into by my own doing. I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't value myself as a human for that. And I just wish that my mom would instead of looking at it as a loss, look at it as this beautiful, miraculous rebirth almost of a human that is doing so well in life. I mean, I have a job, I'm at school, I had a 4.0 spring semester, like, I'm interviewing for an internship, I was like an officer of a club, and I was treasurer of a club, and I'm on the exec board for another thing, and all these things that you would want your kid to be involved in and do and seek out and be successful in. I'm all that, plus I'm happy, and I wasn't that before. I may have looked happy, but I don't know. I didn't know how uncomfortable I was until I wasn't uncomfortable anymore. And it's a very, it's a cool thing to experience. And yeah, so if you're going through this also, of unsupportive parents, just know that you don't have to live up to anybody else's expectation. You get up every day, you do your best, you be a good person, and you're good enough. And it took me a long time to learn that. But and even if people can't accept you, even if you want them so badly, like I want my mom to see me as this I think I'm a pretty good kid. I wish my mom would see that, or at least take the time to see me as how I see myself. And but if you're dealing with with this also, just know that you're not alone. And as much as you want those people who are so close to you or were so close to you, with someone as your mom, no one doesn't want their mom in their life. You know, yeah, they've maybe done crappy things, but if you could choose to take away those crappy things, you would want your parents in your life. And you know, I do love my mom, and just know that you are good enough in yourself, and you need to surround yourself with the people that do support you, and maybe they will come around. That's what I'm banking on. I don't know, but honestly, every day that I go out and I get called sir, and I get called, you know, my name, and I get called he, and without question, and I'm never denied my identity in my reality of my world, out in public, out with strangers, with people that I know, and that is so fulfilling to me. So, on a side funny note, you will have the last laugh in this situation. Maybe it'll take 2 years, but when you grow a beard and your voice is this low, if you were to go out in public with said relative or said friend, and they called you female pronoun, they would be looked at funny, not you. And another tip to parents also, I'm not trying to lecture anybody, but I know that if you're worried about what other people think of you because you may have a transgender child, you will find, and my dad will speak about this in the video with him, but you will find that if you accept your child unconditionally and show that face to the world that you accept and you love your child, you are going to be the person that sets the tone for how everybody else will treat you with your child. And if you accept them, maybe you'll have some friends that don't understand, but you're going to get a lot less of grief from people than you think. If you just say, hey, this is my kid, and I accept them, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's your kid, and I think you know best. Maybe they'll disagree with it, but they're not going to give you as much crap as you think. And my dad backs me up 100%, and yeah, people disagree with him, but it's a lot different. People are not going to come at you as like you don't know your child as well. Like, they don't know your child as well as you do, so they can't make that judgment, and they won't. So just support your kid, and you'll be surprised how other people support you.